Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 48th chapter. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, because he knew that um, uh, Jacob was about to die. And one told Jacob and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. So at this point, he was very old, very weak, and sick. So he was laying in bed. He was bedridden, you could say. And so, but like not in a severe case, right? Because it says here he's able to. You can tell how much energy it took at this point to actually sit up. You know, when you have old people in a bed, it's a lot more energy for them to get up than you would think. So he strengthens himself. My back, and then he sits up. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz, in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. So here Jacob was claiming the two sons of Joseph as his, i.e., they would inherit with his sons as his sons. And that's why it is that when you go into the 12 tribes, technically speaking, Ephraim and Manasseh were grandsons of Jacob, but they were treated as sons. All right, and their descendants likewise. So they inherited a portion, just like the rest of their uncles. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine. So any other children you have after them, those will be yours. But I'm claiming these two as mine. And shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath, the same is Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. So he couldn't, really see properly, right? He couldn't really make out things too well. But he knew, when it says that he beheld, he knew that obviously there were people, in this case, two sons with Joseph. And so Joseph brings Ephraim and Manasseh, right? He brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God has shewed me also thy seed. So I didn't even think I would see you again. And the Lord has been so gracious that not only did I see you, but I've even got to see your children, my grandchildren. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. Because remember, they had to likely either be kneeling, because Jacob was sitting as best he could on the bed, right? And if they were standing, there would be no way, as we're about to read on down, for Jacob to actually bless them. So they had to come down because they were likely young men, tall at this point. Maybe, no, not even young men, older than that, right? Because at this point it says that by the time Jacob came into the land, he dwelt there for 17 years. We know that they were born before that, right? So they were at least 17 years old. Where we at? Verse 13. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand, toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand, toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. So Joseph placed it so Ephraim, which was the younger son, was on Jacob's left hand, and Manasseh, being the older, the firstborn, was on Jacob's right hand. And Israel stretched out his Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger. So even though Joseph had brought Ephraim towards Jacob's left and Manasseh toward his right, Jacob, or Israel, crossed his hands and moved his right hand toward his left side to Ephraim's head, and moved his left hand towards his right side towards Manasseh's head. As it says here, and his left hand was upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. So he knew what he was doing. He did that on purpose by going across, because he wanted the blessing of the right hand to fall upon Ephraim. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life, long on to this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them. Hence, they were adopted or engrafted, or added to the tribes. And the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand and removed it, to remove it from Ephraim's head onto Manasseh's head, because he's like, no, like the firstborn is Manasseh, right? And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. So he's thinking, well, Jacob can't really see, so that's why I moved the children how I did. But he basically crosses his hand. So Joseph is thinking, oh, let him know. No. Like you're putting your hands in the wrong place. The right hand should go on the head of the firstborn. That's Manasseh. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. I know what I'm doing. He also shall become a people. That's Manasseh. And he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he. And his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And that's why I put my hand on his head. And this also goes to show you, as the Lord kept saying, that he would make of thee, right, referring to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of many nations and multitude of nations. Yeah, like from Abraham, you did have different nations come out from them. But also here, we see that of Ephraim came the Ephraimites. But you would consider them to be one tribe, right? However, they're also likened here onto a multitude of nations, right? So you can see here that that's an example precept showing you that the tribes can also be likened onto nations. Not to get tripped up when you see that terminology. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. So when he blessed them, he said basically, your name is going to be used as a blessing in Israel. So when somebody blesses you, they'll say, may God make you as Ephraim or make you as Manasseh, which is saying like, may you be very blessed. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you and bring you again into the land of your fathers. That's the land of Canaan. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. And what's interesting here is that when you look at the actual divisions of the land, like we did in the book of Joshua, you'll notice that Manasseh has almost what looks like two parts, right? If we look up here, Bible map of Israel, if we look here, you'll see here, Manasseh ends up having a huge ass part, right? They got a big portion on the right hand of Jordan and another big portion on the left side of Jordan. And then Ephraim has one. So if you look at it separately, it looks like almost 3 portions, right? One for Ephraim and then 2 for Manasseh. Okay. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 48th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.